You know, if you cut off a finger or a toe or something, that's bad. But if you lose your hearing, you've lost a significant amount of quality in your life.
Noise many times is not considered to be as much of a hazard as, say, some of the chemicals in the workplace, when in reality noise is actually very much a hazard in the workplace, and typically it is the most common hazard of the workplace.
I've run tower cranes, regular cranes, frictions, hydraulic cranes. I've run dirt moving equipment, material handling equipment such as forklifts, and I've also mechanicked air arc, done a lot of welding. In short, a lot of this work has put me in a high noise area.
It can cause permanent hearing loss. It can cause also some other effects that people don't pay attention to as much, which are things like high blood pressure, stress, insomnia. It can also make your job more hazardous and difficult because you may many times not hear things you need to hear on the job.
2, 1, fire.
It's important because of safety concerns for one thing, and also just communications. Hearing, I think, is just almost as important as eyesight. It's real important to keep your hearing as good as you can, because it doesn't come back once it's gone.
Exposure to noise may cause what is termed a temporary threshold shift. This occurs from being in loud situations, not only at work, but maybe at a concert, maybe at a very loud social event, or down at the local bar when you stop on the way home from your job. When you get in the car the next morning, you wonder who turned the radio up that it's blaring loud, when in actuality you did because you had a decrease in hearing that night when you drove home. Now that is recovered. The hazard comes into play when that temporary threshold shift occurs often enough to cause permanent damage to the hearing, and therefore you then get a permanent shift in the hearing. You've lost it, you're not going to get it back again. You may not notice it at first because you're losing those higher frequencies. You may not hear the flute section of an orchestra, but you don't realize that hearing loss is occurring because you're still hearing most all the speech sounds. You may start to miss some of the higher frequency speech sounds such as S, T, TH, those type of sounds. As the hearing loss continues to occur, it will start to decrease the hearing level in the lower frequencies, which is where the speech sounds occur, and you will start to have more and more difficulty understanding people. Many people will make the comment, I can't hear without my glasses on. It's because they can't see the person's face. They're lip reading and don't even realize they are lip reading.
I began to notice a hearing loss probably 15 years into my career, and it was laughable. It was kind of funny, really. We all joke about it. And after a few years, though, I began to notice that I was not effectively communicating with other people. I had in a couple of places become a foreman, and I was having difficulty understanding what was being spoken in meetings, and also trying to communicate with the people out in the field, especially when I got into a high noise environment. I finally went in for some hearing tests to find out what had gone wrong, and I found that I had a significant hearing loss.
Once you realize that you have a hearing loss, it is very, very important to continue to protect what hearing is left, but more importantly, is to protect it from the very beginning and not develop the hearing loss to begin with. As a general rule of thumb, if you come into an area to speak with someone and you have to raise your voice above a typical conversational level, and you are no further than 3 feet away from that person, you're in an area where the noise levels are too loud. The employer should be monitoring for noise in the areas where work is being conducted. At the 85 decibel level over an 8-hour period, that employer is then required to hear of a hearing conservation program.
There's an awful lot of our members that have lost their hearing over the years, that just due to not wearing hearing protection. It's usually caught when they go down to take their CDL license or physical for their CDLs.
The employer has the responsibility to have the hearing conservation program, to provide you with training on the hazards of noise, to provide you with properly fitted hearing protection. It then becomes the worker's responsibility to wear that hearing protection at any time they are in a noise area. And just because it's not on the job does not mean it won't damage your hearing.
I think in the beginning it was kind of macho not to wear hearing protection, but I think to date most people wear it because they realize the importance of it.
There are many types of hearing protection available, and maybe the problem is not the hearing protection, but the type is being used. You need to be sure that the hearing protection is protective for the level of noise you're in, and then secondarily that it is also comfortable and that you will wear it. It doesn't matter how well it protects. If you're not wearing it, it doesn't do its job. You need to wear the hearing protection.
I can sit in conversations now, and for the most part, I don't get the joke. I don't get the punchline. I can't hear the story. It became more serious. It became more personal to me because I have 5 kids, probably the 5 best kids in America. And I have 5 grandkids, and I enjoy those grandkids a lot. But I can't understand a word they say. So I like to hike, and used to like to hunt and hike, get into the mountains a lot. But I can look now at any bird that's singing and I can't hear what it says. I mean, I can't hear the sound. I can't hear how beautiful it is. I've lost the quality of my life. I've lost the edge. I'm hoping to live long enough to see my grandchildren's grandchildren, if that's possible. But I know that there's one thing that I can't get back, and I can tell you that a silent world is not necessarily a peaceful world.